Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Amiee Boswinkle representing Connections Restored TV, an affiliate of the Bill and Callie Show Network. I am so excited to talk with everybody today about how to create confidence when your world is filled with uncertainty and doubt. This is episode 12 of Connections Restored TV. Can you guys even imagine? We have been together now for 12 weeks, 3 months. You guys have been coming on and supporting Connections Restored TV. And I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have showed up faithfully every week and supported the show and sent me private messages and let me know how much they have really hit your heart, or we have been able to connect the right people together, because that's what Connections Restored TV is all about. And I know that that is exactly the heart of the Bill and Callie Show Network, providing information and connecting the right people together in this world. And I think that's just such an amazing thing, to create connection in a world where it may feel like everything is just kind of falling apart for some people. So I just wanted to express that I'm so incredibly grateful for all of you who have supported the show for the past 12 weeks. It really means so much to my heart. And so does this topic, friends. This topic around how to create confidence when your world feels uncertain and full of doubt. And what an incredible topic to be talking about right now with everything that's been going on in the world. And I know that the events in the world are affecting some people more than others. Some of us are in the direct line of COVID and the riots and all of the things that are going on. And others of us, life has just been going on as normal, and some of us are kind of in the in-between. And I know that when there's a lot of things going on in the world, and I don't mean the world at large, let's just narrow that down a little bit and look at our own world, right? Who you are, how you represent your world, who you're being in your world, right? And we can get so caught up in all of the thoughts, all of the feelings that are going on in our own world. And sometimes when there's a lot of things going on in our world where our mind is being distracted because maybe we're dealing with money issues, maybe we're dealing with health issues, maybe we're dealing with issues with relationships with other people. Maybe we're not being heard the way that we want to be heard. Maybe other people aren't communicating to us as effectively as we hope, and it's creating this disconnect. And that can cause a whole lot of uncertainty and doubt. I bet a lot of you can agree with that. And when we're in uncertainty and doubt, we're really confused. There's a feeling inside of our body like, where do I go next? I know that I've personally been in this space quite a number of times in my life. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but when I was young, I can remember that. And the reason why I'm taking us back in our timeline is because beliefs are created upon the experiences that we've walked through in our life. And when we've been through experiences that have been traumatic to us in some way, we carry the biochemistry or the emotions with us. And those emotions and that biochemistry creates the beliefs that we have now as adults. Now, some of you watching the show may be teenagers or young adults, but all of that biochemistry or all of those feelings around the experiences that we have walked through create the belief that we have now that we're utilizing in our everyday life. And that's why when we feel confident for a day or two, and then something happens in our life and it throws us off track, that uncertainty and that doubt can come reeling back really quickly right into our life. So what I really want to do is give you guys some perspective on this and hopefully help you to navigate a space from a different perspective, a different way of seeing it, a little shift, so that you can walk through these spaces just a little bit easier and a little bit faster. So to go back to when I was young, I can remember going to gym class when I was in grade school. And I'm not saying that this happened all the time, but it happened pretty frequently for me. I would be standing, there would be some kind of group activity, and I would be standing on the side, and there would be group leaders, and they would be choosing the people to be on their team. And a lot of times I got chose last. I bet that some of you probably were chosen last too. Maybe not in gym class, but maybe in other spaces when you were in school. And I don't know about you, but when I was chosen last, that whole time my heart was palpitating, got kind of in anticipation of being chosen. Like maybe I wouldn't be last, but a little bit in anticipation of like, whose team will I end up on? And, like, will I feel like I belong? Will the people on that team make me feel like I belong? Because a lot of times that didn't happen for me. And I'm not sharing these sad stories to create a sense of, like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I want to take us all back to a little piece of, where these self-limiting beliefs and feelings may have presented themselves to us for the first time. Because we carry these sorts of experiences with us throughout our life, even though we grow up and we right, like we have graduated grade school, we have graduated middle school, if that's where you went, what was called middle school where I went, we graduated high school, right, and we've gone through those experiences. We carry pieces of those feelings with us. Maybe you went to a dance. I can definitely relate to this, going to school dances and, standing on the sidelines. And, I would be with my group of friends, but not feeling comfortable to dance, not having anybody to ask me to dance, right? Like being chosen last, not being chosen at all. And maybe if you have been through experiences like these, like I have, where, people would come up to you and, express their disdain for how you looked. Maybe they didn't like the clothes that you wore. Maybe they thought that you were ugly and even expressed that, because I know that certainly happened to me. I've had people come up to me and tell me that I was ugly and that they didn't like the clothes that I was wearing. And, when I look back on that, I can understand. We're all just trying to fit in and belong somewhere, right? But it really hurts whenever we feel like we're a target. Maybe we might not have said that it was a target, but when we feel like we're being signaled out in some way and we go into those negative feelings of just not feeling worthy, it can really knock our confidence down. And I carried that biochemistry or those emotions with me into college and into my adult life. And I know that some of you have been following me for quite a long time, more than, Connections Restored TV, an affiliate of the Bill and Callie Show Network. Some of you have been following me for years, for the past 3 years, to be exact. And you know that my story includes utilizing alcohol and drugs and binge eating to deal with feelings that I didn't really know how to navigate. Now, some of you may resonate with, dealing with alcohol and drugs to deal with feelings that didn't really feel very well, so that we could numb out, so that we didn't have to deal with the pain of what was really going on in our life. But maybe some of us can't. And either way, it's okay, because you're still going to be able to travel forward with me with this conversation, so I can give you some clarity on how that you can create confidence in a way that I have been able to create confidence. Because I can tell you something, friends. There's a version of Amiee Boswinkle not all that long ago who would never, ever have been able to come on and have a conversation like this with you, because she didn't have enough confidence to be able to do that. But what I want to let you know is that we can create the version of us that we desire to be if we make a very empowered decision that we desire to change. Right? And it starts with that very empowered decision. So as we're looking back on our life and seeing where maybe these painful things happen, maybe these things that were said to us, the clarity that I've come to is that, when other people aren't feeling very good in their life, maybe things are going on at home, maybe their life isn't going all that well, the way that they express themselves to us isn't always of the utmost value, right? So when I look back at those periods of my life, I have no idea what was going on in other people's worlds or in their lives. I just knew that those sorts of things, like being chosen last and being told things that didn't feel very nice, they hurt my feelings. I have a very sensitive heart. And I bet that a lot of you watching this episode right now, that you have really sensitive hearts too. And us beautiful, amazing, worthy, valuable, sensitive hearted people, we take in emotions sometimes from other people. So if they are not having the best life experience themselves, and that's the only way they know how to express themselves, because that's what they've been taught, it can feel really confusing and yucky inside of us. But we don't always have that type of evolutionary thinking to be able to think that way and put our feet in other people's shoes. That's why I feel like these sorts of conversations are really important for people who are evolutionary thinkers, right? Evolutionary thinkers mean that they have the ability to think about their thinking. And you know what that means to me? An evolutionary thinker has the ability to change their world for the better anytime they choose to. And I know that that's you. And you may not always feel like that, but anytime that we are feeling out of sorts, I just want you to remember that you can come back and watch this episode as many times as you want to. In fact, I encourage you to put it in your saved file. Save this video so that when you feel lost because maybe somebody has said something to you, maybe somebody hasn't had an effective communication with you, that really it just stems from a belief that we created from an experience that didn't feel pleasant from earlier in our life, and that we've carried that biochemistry or that chemical residue, also known as a feeling, into our present day life. These things that we have called a brain are really amazing. It's really amazing. And the more that I study about the brain and the way that it works and how people can utilize it and become evolutionary thinkers to where they can think about their thinking and learn to shift their beliefs, learn to shift their perception, learn to shift their mindset into a space where they can create this new version of themselves that has confidence. It's so beautiful and so amazing. And it is such a gift to be able to have this level and ability to think outside of the box. And that this is actually, in my opinion, a really important thing to have in your toolbox as we are moving forward with the things that we are experiencing in life, right? Because life throws all of us lots of curveballs, and we can keep it at that narrow focus of what life is throwing to us personally with what's going on in our own life and the immediate important people that are closest to us that we really desire to have effective, amazing, beautiful relationships with to the utmost of our ability, where we're creating value and fun and mindfulness, not only in our own life, but value and fun and mindfulness and all of those people around us. Because when we are creating value and fun and mindfulness in our world, we're able to create that in other people's worlds because we're able to hold our power. What I've noticed by working with people is that we're continually giving away our power by trying to rescue other people when they're not feeling well. And really, if we just took a step back and allowed other people to go through their experience, and we were there and we got to witness them, that in us witnessing them, being there for them, showing our support, showing our love, showing the things that the all-encompassing unconditional love that every beautiful, sensitive heart in the world that I personally have ever met or had the pleasure of being connected to in some way has the ability, when they are just allowing a space for support and unconditional love to express itself, that person that we love so much will grow from us just holding space for them to evolve and grow. That is really interesting space to be in, because when we have been through past experiences in our life where we have been in survival mode, and believe me, friends, I'm speaking from a space of experience, empathy, and compassion here, because my own life's journey has been filled with traumas. And I have had to learn to navigate spaces that have been incredibly difficult. I have had to look fear in the eye. I have had to be able to look myself in the eye and expand and grow and heal from my heart, heal from the inside out. And that isn't always an easy space to navigate, but this is how confidence is created, in my opinion. And I can only speak to any of you from my own personal experiences, because I have gained enough wisdom and mastery by walking through those spaces first. Because if there's anything that I've learned on this journey, it's that I have to go first in order to understand if it's going to be effective. And once I determine, because I have practiced the steps long enough, then I can, with integrity, because integrity is incredibly important to me, be able to effectively communicate to all of you places of experience that I have been through, that I have gained a level of what I consider my own personal mastery in. And confidence is cultivated and created whenever we can take a step back and we can learn to look at shifting where our self-limiting beliefs were first created in our life. And sometimes we have to take a journey to the past. It doesn't mean we have to stay there long. It doesn't mean we have to dwell there, but we do need to learn and recognize where these patterns were first exhibited in the experiences that we walk through. Because once we can identify this, then we can say, oh my goodness, I can see where I created this belief that I wasn't good enough. I can see where I created this belief where I wasn't valuable. I can see where I created this belief system that I didn't matter. And now that we can see where it was created without blame, just saying, hey, this is where it was created, we can take that step back and ask ourselves, well, is that really true today? Am I still really that person? And I would imagine that a lot of us are saying, no, I'm not that person. That isn't who I am anymore. So great. Now that you have this amount of clarity, we can shift that belief. What will make you feel like the most confident, empowered version of yourself? Where in your life story can you go back and connect to a memory where you felt really confident? Right? So just explore that today. Where in your timeline were you confident? And what I've learned on my own journey is that confidence comes from us making a very empowered decision. And that empowered decision is us wanting to do the work to change. Because if there's anything that I have learned about confidence, is that it comes from consistency with action. Confidence comes from consistency with taking action. So the example that I'm going to utilize for you all right here is by coming onto Facebook and doing Facebook Live videos. There's a version of me that was very, very afraid of this. And it took a lot of inner strength for me to show up. In fact, my throat chakra was so closed that it was so scary and so painful the first 100 times I did it. But that there was something inside of me that just kept saying to me, you have to continue to show up. And even if it doesn't look perfect, and even if not everyone is in resonance with your message, and even if people make fun of you, and even if, trust yourself. That's the message I kept getting from my heart. Just trust and just show up. Trusting ourselves, friends, that can be really hard. We've been conditioned, in my opinion, to put all of our value into other people's opinions. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or that's a wrong thing, but whose opinion do we want? That was a question I started asking myself. Did I want the opinion and the belief of all people? Or did I want the opinion and the belief of someone who was just a little bit farther on the path than I was? Did I want the opinion and the belief of someone who had a little more wisdom in the area that I desired to gain wisdom in? And once I started asking myself these really incredible questions that had a whole lot of clarity and depth to them, I started asking more powerful questions around what I really wanted for my life. I started to make more empowered decisions. And as I started to make more empowered decisions, confidence came from the consistency with action, because I had found a community or a mentor or a support system that had more clarity around what confidence was and what it looked like. And I could have never arrived here without mentorship for me personally, and books, and educating myself, and showing up even when I was still scared. It's scary, friends. If there's anybody in this world who can empathize and have compassion around walking through fear, I know that person would be me. And I know that I'm not the only person on this planet, but it is scary. It is scary. It is scary to start to speak a truth. It is scary to start to show up and be a different version of yourself. It really is. But confidence is cultivated whenever we are taking consistent, dedicated action towards becoming a version of ourselves that we desire to be, because the desire to change inside of us is so strong that we will show up and continue to move forward even when there's no proof or evidence that it's going to work out for us. Now, here's another thing about the brain, is that when we're walking through fear and we're creating and cultivating confidence, our brain is so powerful that a lot of people will fall off track, because the brain is actually always looking for proof and evidence that things are going to work out for us. But when we're navigating new spaces in our life, whenever we're moving into a new home, we're putting our kids into a new school system, whenever we get sick and we've never been sick before, whenever we are in a relationship and our partner, our significant other, our wife, our husband, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, whatever the word is that you use, is going through something and we've not been through that. And we're navigating these new spaces and we're just feeling, our sensitive, beautiful hearts are sensing that we want to be there. We want to be empathetic. We want to be compassionate. Yet this is a new space to navigate. It's just about taking that step back and being who we are, and that it doesn't have to be perfect. Because if we're moving forward trying to find all the facts and get all the knowledge and know how we're supposed to do this, and as we're moving forward and we're making all of these mistakes because this new space, this new area that we're walking in, the brain is looking for proof and evidence that it's going to work out. It's like, how am I going to make this work? How is this going to work? Like, how do I have to show up? How can I make this better? And it's not about that, because our brain is going to trick us and then we're going to fall off track. And then when we make the mistake, our perfectionism, the perfectionist part of our brain, is going to make us go right back to that self-limiting belief that we're not good enough and that we're not worthy and that we're not valuable. So we just catch ourselves in those spaces. That's all we can do, right? Because the evolved thinker, the thinker who can think about their thinking, can take that step back and be like, where in my life was this belief created to where I actually need proof and evidence this is going to work out when I've never navigated this space before? Our brain's always going to go to uncertainty when we're navigating new spaces. It's how the brain works. So in my opinion, right, that's where it becomes important to find the guide on the journey who's a few steps ahead of you. Because if we're talking to people who have never been in that space before, who don't know the way, that don't have the clarity to get us from point A to point B, and knowing that point A to point B is not linear, it's non-linear, and that there are actually a million different paths to the same point B, And when we start to load up fear and uncertainty and doubt, and we fall off track, that person will continue to remind us to just shift, right? Because we've started to fall off the path and go into uncertainty and doubt. And that person is just like, they just put us back on the path, right? Very gently, very lovingly. Maybe some mentors aren't so gentle and loving, right? But they're just remember who you are, friends. When you remember who you are and you follow your heart when you're navigating new spaces, you're not going to go wrong. We're all human and we're all going to make mistakes. And just remember that all of the uncertainty and all of the doubt that we have all walked through in our life have come from some kind of self-limiting belief that was created during an earlier experience in our life. And it's about remembering, does that belief system still serve the me here and now? Does that belief system still serve me right now? Am I still that person? If the answer is no, great. Don't read into that. No, I am not that person anymore. So then, where do you need to shift your mindset to stand in confidence in that moment? And remember that we are all scared. We're all scared. All human beings are scared. All human beings are scared the first time they try something. That's a commonality. There's no human being who tries something new for the first time and is not scared of it. There's some anticipation in trying something new. And all we're doing is we're practicing. And that if you continue to practice, even when you're scared, even when you don't know how it's going to work out, even when, and you just continue, that confidence will arrive from consistency with action. So I want to thank all of you, friends, for your valuable, valuable gift of your time today. I hope that this conversation has served you, because what I've learned about confidence on my own journey is that it comes from me owning my value and me owning my own self-worth, because that has to come first. And I would love the opportunity to be able to serve you in a higher capacity if you gained value from this conversation. I am hosting a workshop this Friday. It's called The Wealth Frequency, and it's going to be all about confidence, and it's going to be all about self-worth and value. And it is a paid workshop, but I would love the opportunity to provide it to all of you watching this video all the way to the end for free. I would love the opportunity to offer you, it's called the Wealth Frequency Workshop for free. And all you have to do to get into this workshop for free is share this video if you found it valuable in some way. And the reason I'm asking you to share is not because I want to grow this bigger audience. It's because my heart truly desires to help people who feel uncertain and who have doubt and who feel scared, because that is part of my heart's mission. This workshop starts this Friday. It's going to be 2 one-hour lectures and 1 Q&A call. It starts this Friday, June 19. It's at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is in a private Facebook group. And the replay will be available if you are not able to make it live. And all you have to do to get this workshop for free is to share this video, because it is truly my desire to awaken people and help them to navigate spaces of walking away from trauma, of walking away from PTSD, of walking away from low self-worth, of walking away from low self-value, and owning who you are, because it is important. Because if there's anything that I've learned on this journey, when we don't feel good about ourselves, then it starts to deplete not only our energy, but it depletes our body. It depletes our health. And empowering people to make empowering choices is really important to me. As I do know, it is a really important part of the Bill and Callie Show Network as well, because they really do an amazing job. For those of you who watch this, watch the things that Bill and Callie put out, they are amazing people, and they really support Northwest Indiana and beyond. They support their community. They are always talking about things that really, truly matter. And that really means a lot to my heart, because our heart missions are in resonance with one another. So if you do feel called to be in this workshop, all you have to do is share this video. Make sure you tag me in it, or you can private message me, and then I will send you the link, and it's yours for free. And again, it starts this Friday, June 19, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, with replay available. From my heart to yours, friends. Oh, and if you have questions, please just let me know. Just reach out about the workshop or anything that I talked about today. From my heart to yours, friends, I just want to thank you again for your time. You are so amazing. Just in case nobody told you today, I want you to hear it from me. Or if you heard it and you just like to hear it again, you are amazing. You are so wonderful. And I love you. It may not seem possible that there's a person out in the world that you've never met that loves you, but I promise you, there is no person in the world who loves you more than the way my heart feels like my heart loves yours. So thank you again for your time. Thank you again for sharing the last 12 weeks with me. Can you believe it, friends? 12 weeks. We have spent 3 months together. It's been such an amazing journey. And I'm so excited to continue Connections Restored TV with the Bill and Callie Show Network. Make sure you like and follow the Bill and Callie Show Network to make sure that you know all of the things that they have going on in their world. You can like my business page, Connections Restored, and I'm always open to having conversations with all of you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your afternoon, friends. I love you. Have a great day.
This episode of the Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by...
You're hurt in a wreck. Why would you even think about calling the insurance company first?
Call somebody who's going to work for you, not against you.
The insurance companies are not on your side. We are.
We are Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe are the lawyers for you. Call 222-2222.